Hey, what's up, you guys? This is the HFT podcast, Healing from Trauma. I am your host, Andrea. And if my voice sounds familiar, it's because I also host the podcast called Petty on the Rocks. However, I use the alias on. Oh shit! No, I don't use the. Andrea is my real name. My bad. I use the alias Erica Jade because these are two different personas. Andrea is just who I am. Erica Jade is who I want to say, I can't even say pretend to be. It's just another alter ego that I've created to get through what I was going through. I was actually in sex work, so that means escorting, dancing, webcamming, all of the above, damn near. And now I have condensed it down to strictly webcamming and being a virtual sensual consultant, if that makes sense. But I digress. This isn't necessarily about that personality. This is about me and who I am and how I can better serve people by healing myself, and hopefully this podcast will be a resource for someone, and not just relatable content, but actually offering something that will spark a change, maybe encourage or uplift someone out there. I'm not sure. Here we go. Originally, when I made this podcast, it was to go with the mantra I have adapted, which is healing, not dealing. So a lot of times in life, we're dealt this hand that we want to give back to the goddamn dealer, and the dealer being the creator. I have contemplated suicide before. I have just wished upon a star that I could disappear. Maybe to an island, maybe a livable planet, anywhere other than here. Because dealing with people and understanding people can be overstimulating. When it comes down to being genuine and getting that back, sometimes it's hard, and it's hard to understand. It's difficult when it comes to the whys, the whos, the whats, the all of that. So anyway, this episode is based around the subject of mind control. First and foremost, they say an idle mind is the devil's playground. That is the truth. So this weekend, I'm minding my business. I am being productive, maybe not as productive as I could, which is always a guilt trip for me. And I mean a long trip. I mean, I can go on a guilt trip for at least 3 months, maybe 6, like back to the mind control. So I'm having a decent week, not too much going on. Somewhere along the line, I just let one thought get in my mind and infiltrate and change my whole course of what I was doing. So originally in my right mind, I'm like, it's going to be a profitable week. It's going to be a good week. I'm going to do what I did last week, but better. And then the momentum slowed down. And as it slowed down, I start, and I always tell people I have managed luggage, baggage, whatever you want to call it. And when you say, what is managed luggage? That means I know all the contents that's in my bags. I may be a bag lady, but I got this. I got this. I'm not, my things aren't falling all out of the bags. I'm not just, you see me straight on and I look okay, and then when you turn me to the side, now you see 5-10 bags behind me. So back to this mind control. I have been learning to control my mind, which ultimately will control my reality. How will it control my reality? By controlling my actions. So in my mind, it ranges from calm, anxiety, frantic, and stress. Like it's no in between. If I'm not calm and cool, I'm probably anxious about something. And if I'm not anxious about something, I may be triggered by something, which causes another reaction, which is back into the cycle of shit I really don't need to think about or focus on. Like, it's easier said than done, but it's like once you have a cut and you nurture that cut, disinfect, cover it up with a Band-Aid. You allow it to heal before you remove the Band-Aid. You don't freaking rip off the Band-Aid 2 minutes after you've done what you did to start the process of healing, and then be like, well, I don't know why I'm not healed. I'm just gonna, a lot of time, I don't even know how to give a better analogy, but it's, imagine bandaging yourself up, or allowing, or even if you don't bandage yourself up, someone else bandaging you up, and then allowing someone else, which would be the perpetrator, the bad thoughts, or even the bad friends, come around. And I don't believe in bad friends. You're either a good friend or you're not. There's no bad friends. You're not my friend. People don't know what the definition of friend means. But anyway, if I get bandaged up and then 2 minutes after I just pull it off, I'm like, well, I did what I needed to do. Now I'm just going to keep going. That's my ideal. And then, but you're still susceptible to infections and all of those things because you are still open. You may be healing, but you're not. You're more so dealing. Or dealing is when I get scratched by my cat and I don't disinfect it. I don't clean it. I just let it go. No. And then you wonder why you got red mark that's turning ugly or whatever may happen. So it's like our mind, the quicker and the more sturdier we are with controlling our mind. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what you believe in, but me personally, I believe in God, aka the creator of all things. I know some people like to credit the universe when I feel like God is God. The universe is controlled by God, and that's how he communicates with us, by using the elements of the universe, people, places, and things. Not necessarily the universe itself is the God. I don't. Anyway, that's no here nor there, because that's not what the hell we're talking about. We're talking about mind control, people. So my advice and what I'm doing, which I feel that I can give advice on it because I'm doing it and it's working, is to focus on the silver lining in every situation. Whenever you want to take that trip and pack up your bags and go on that guilt trip, stop yourself. Tell yourself that you are enough. You are loved. What's done is done. God is in control of what's to be. And leave it at that. Sounds easier said than done. I know. Because if somebody told this to me while I was crying this weekend, wondering why is my life not where it should be or where I want it to be or why it's going the way it's going. That's what I got out of it. Pretty much controlling your mind is quieting your mind and redirecting your mind. Because a lot of times when you're idle or you're like, I have a habit of beating myself up for things that I cannot change this very moment. But for some reason, it creeps up on me like, remember this, remember that, remember this. And it's like, damn, I can't do anything about that right now. Like, even down to people that have offended me, wronged me. It's like, why am I thinking about how Keisha cussed me out from 4 years ago and said some real hurtful shit, but that ain't got shit to do with today. And I don't even talk to Keisha. I don't know what she's doing. She could be having a hell of a time or she could be having the worst of times, but that's not for me to focus on. It's like, it's so easy to succumb to misery, especially if you allow your mind to be open and focused on the wrong things, on things that do not serve, aid, or uplift in any way. Why am I thinking of, at 2 o'clock at night, why am I thinking about my failures and my heartbreaks instead of thinking about my achievements, my goals and things that I want to see happen, that are even things that are in motion. So basically, damn, I didn't know my laptop was on. So basically, it is way more beneficial to heal instead of deal, because when you're dealing, now you're just playing with yourself, your life, your mind, your thoughts, everything. You're just playing with what you're given, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's not a good thing. That's like you play with a hand with no spades in it, you're bound to get fricked. So it's like in life, we're allowed to add our own spades by adding prayer, by meditating, which is to me prayer, our connection with our Creator. These are things that help with mind control, because I often ask God to take the thoughts away, or to, just help me think of other things, help me have different thoughts, because your thoughts can control your day. They can control your mood. They can control your response to people. Like, I literally was in my head, had nothing to do with my friend. He uttered 2 words to me that I knew that was going to, if I wasn't already in my bag, I already would have been like, boy, shut the hell up. Or, I'm not worried about what you're talking about. Or, it just wouldn't have bothered me. But because I was already attacking myself, it just felt like I was being attacked by whoever said anything to me. And yeah, it was unneeded conversation, but it was like, I know this person. I knew that they were going to say something to me. It was not a matter of if, it was kind of when, because again, I knew this person. But even though logically I know this person, I knew they were going to say something that could rub me the wrong way if I was in a bad space, but wouldn't have bothered me if I was my typical self or like our daily banter. Like, it wouldn't have fazed me. But because I allowed my mind to have more control over me than me having control over my mind, it caused a reaction of me snapping. Now, me snapping could have went to a worse place, but he understands me. I felt like enough to know, like, this bitch is going through something. Let me chill, or I'm going to just ask her what's wrong. And that's what they did. But that's not how it always worked out. He could have flipped the script like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? And why the fuck you being weird to me? And blah, 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 blah. So it's like, if you don't get anything from anything else I said, even if you fast forwarded to this part, I'll be grateful. Just know that you're worthy. Know that even if you feel no one loves you, someone loves you. And for sure, the person who loves you the most ultimately is the person who cares enough about what's going on in your life. You just cannot, I say, touch them. And that would be the Creator. For those who don't believe in God, I still feel that you have love coming your way from the Creator. And if not, okay, I'm not going to say if not, because I'm not saying because if you don't, because He loves all His children. However, if you feel like you need that physical love and connection, there's no better person who can love you the way you need to be loved and how and when you need to be loved than you. Think about it. When I love on myself, when I feel like I look good, when I feel like, I smell good, I look good, I feel good, guess what? I'm loving on myself and I'm allowing everybody else to do it too. Now I'm allowing you to. I don't expect you to, because I just know that you're going to. Or even if I know I'm loving myself enough that it doesn't take away from me if others do not, if that makes sense. So all in all, it's like you got to have mind control over yourself. You heard Smokey, mind control over Debo. You have to be able to manipulate yourself into believing what is ultimately a truth. And the truth is that you're worthy, you're loved, you have a purpose. We're all here for a reason. The cemeteries are filled with gifts that never came to fruition because of the mind control of, maybe it was an illness that overtook a person, maybe it was the streets, maybe it was, you know what I mean? We don't know everybody's situation, but what we do know is that we're not here for no reason. Even from the worst of the worst stories to the best of the best stories, because there's people that have way more material-wise assets and all those things, and they're miserable. And there's people that have way less, and when I say less, I mean missing limbs, missing chromosomes, all types of things that we feel are a necessity to be happy. And like, I know a person right now that is happier than me, and they don't have all their toes. Here I am with 10 goddamn toes, and now I'm not even grateful for these bitches. I'm just like, they're just toes. Meanwhile, somebody else trying to keep their balance, but guess what? They found out in life that they're still worth living, and still worth having, is still worth being, and they're worth being, and they're worth being. So that's why they're happy and content and moving forward and prospering. Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here counting on the 10 toes I do got, and I can't find peace and happiness with them. Why? Because your mind is what makes you. It's what makes you or breaks you. It's your actions. Your mind controls your body controls your actions control your reality. So the quicker we can control our minds, the quicker we can heal and not deal. Because again, if I had better control over my thoughts, I wouldn't have as many mental breakdowns. I wouldn't take as many guilt trips. I wouldn't have as much baggage. I could condense that bitch down to 2 bags instead of 6. It's all about control. And if you can't control anyone or anything else, you can control your motherfucking mind. And sometimes that may be hard, seems a bit difficult, but it's not undoable. And that's all I got for y'all today. That's it. That's all. Is just controlling your mind. Control your mind first before worrying about anybody else. You can't change anybody's actions for them. You can't change nobody's actions. You have to control yourself and worry about yourself. Once you're good, then you can be good to other people. You can't. It's like you don't want to be a ripped grocery bag, bro. That's basically useless. Like, you look like you gonna do the job because you can't see the rip per se, but as soon as you load that bitch up, you busted. So I hope you guys take it for what it's worth. To know yourself is to love yourself, and to love yourself is to know yourself. And as RuPaul said on Drag Race, if you don't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen? And she's not lying, because self-love is the best love. And once you love yourself, you are practicing, one, how to express love to others, and how to accept love from others. And that is it, and that is all. Healing, not dealing. Healing, not dealing. Healing, not dealing. It all starts with me.